Well,
Are sticky notes taking over your life, or is your creative genius on the brink of meltdown with ideas that are vying for your attention? Say goodbye to chaos and hello to smooth sailing with project management tools. Tonight, we discover how to organize ideas, whip your content calendar into shape, and seamlessly collaborate with your co hosts that are scattered across the country. Say goodbye, mess, and hello, success with project management tools.
Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we are all about encouraging the 3 C's: connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and we are creators sharing our experiences despite our distance.
and the C3 team member that is leading this evening's discussion is Dori, known to everyone as DSpence, and she's using her superpowers to instill confidence in those around her and helping others become experts in their own adventures.
So, gentlemen, amidst our content creation madness and let's call it crazy schedules, have either of you ever considered diving into the realm of project management software, maybe to wrangle ideas, keep track of tasks, or maybe even to up your collaboration game? Maybe you've already had some experience. I would love to hear that too. And Manny, we're going to head to you first.
My most experience I've had was with Notion, and that was thanks to you guys. And I know there's a couple other ones I've dove into kind of in a short, very short term, but I've never really used it so much. Now I am, and I cannot throw enough names out there because I'm not very familiar, but I have started using a lot of Microsoft products. And so I know they have a lot of different project management tools within Microsoft 365. So I'm starting to get really familiar with using more of those tools because of the team that I'm working with. Outside of that, I when you said sticky notes, I felt like you were talking to me to an extent. And so that's where it was like, I really am looking forward to what you're going to share because let's be real, being organized. It's like, do I put a to-do list here? Wait, do I just start a draft and on email and then I'll come back to it later? Well, what if I just open up Google Docs and I start writing notes? And my biggest hiccup is I don't always go back to it. So it's like I get caught in which tools should I use? So I'm looking forward to exactly what you're going to be sharing. Kevin, what about you? What kind of experience do you have in the project management software world?
Well, similar to you, I was introduced to Notion via C3 and absolutely loved it. But unfortunately, we found that it didn't seem to work the way we needed it to for our group. But I was able to take portions of it and move it and use it for my other streams, and have also looked at incorporating it into my personal life as well. But I don't want to really steal your thunder here, Dory, because I know you're going to be diving into this. So I won't go into too much detail about that here. If this is the type of content that you'd like to see, please consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you know or you get notified when we go live.
Well, I have to tell you guys that one of the things that I discovered in kind of going down this rabbit hole with these project management tools is I feel like when we started using Notion in particular, we were so new. We were like babies in the content creation world. I don't think we really had a handle on a show flow. I don't think we understood exactly what we wanted to do. And that's one of the points I want to make tonight about project management tools and specific software. This is definitely something where you have to have some sort of handle on how you want to organize things and the direction that you want to go. Because if you don't, you are going to get lost. And when I demo both of these tools, both Notion and ClickUp, you're going to quickly understand exactly what I mean. Now, that doesn't mean project management tools are not for you if you're still in the brainstorming stage, because trust me, every week, we, the three of us here at C3, have to brainstorm topics and what's trending and what's important to all of you in our audience. And there is a time and a place to use project management software to do just that, the brainstorming end of things. And I'm going to show that off tonight as well. But I think, Kevin, you made a great point. We did start using Notion, and the way we started using Notion, I don't think is what we really intended to use the tool for. So I'm hoping that through this revisit of Notion tonight, we can really see the benefits of it for a project management software tool. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into just a very short presentation, and then we're going to get to the demo, which I think is really where the secret sauce is tonight. So let's hop over to Canva, where we are going to do just a quick discussion of what project management tools are, some of the pros and cons of them, and then, of course, some of the leading options out there in terms of the most popular project management software tools available. So, project management software basics. In short, project management software helps you do three things. It helps you create, organize, and collaborate. So if you think about project management software in terms of creation, you're looking at a tool that's going to help you generate ideas. And part of that is through the use and implementation of AI. Another reason that project management software is very strong in the creation area is it helps with concept maps, and it generates a universal storage space for all of your ideas. Now, if you're a content creator like me, and I think, Manny, you touched on this a little bit, I have sticky notes. I have the Notes app on my phone. I have Google Calendar. I have, you name it, I've got the tool for it on my phone, or I've got a paper and pencil version of it. Hell, I still go by old school, like journaling. If I've got an idea, it's whatever is close enough to me to jot the idea down. The problem comes with the organization aspect of that. You have this really great idea, and then you want to go back and revisit it. Well, where the heck did I put it? Was it on a sticky note on my desk? Is it in the Notes app on my phone? And that's where the organization comes in for this project management software. It literally lets you keep absolutely everything in one place. Your content calendar, your concept maps, your brainstorming lists, your show flow, your descriptions, your thumbnail ideas. It literally is a one-stop shop. So along with the organization, you can break down tasks. You can categorize those tasks as far as priority is concerned. What bucket does it go in? For us, we do a lot of things with Canva. We do a lot of things with AI. We do a lot of things with short form content. So you're going to see that I created buckets for all of those areas. And then the last piece is the collaboration. And this part I love because you can communicate with each other inside certain project management apps and software tools. You can share files in there. You can do real-time collaboration and real-time updates to docs. Now, for us, we gravitated towards using Google Drive. We upload files in a shared area, images, other types of things that we need to share amongst the three of us. There's even a calendar aspect of it, which I have to say we have not utilized very much. But you can do all of that with Google. And yes, Google is free. But one of the things that's really tough to do in a shared area like Google Drive is really color coding and organizing and categorizing things. What you're going to see in the view is it's pretty simplistic, to be honest. So let's talk a little bit about some of the pros and some of the cons. So some of the major pros of using project management tools is definitely the organization aspect, the one-stop shop. Implementing a content calendar, which with the click of a button, you assign a date and the object automatically gets added to a calendar. It's color coded, it's visual, it's not amidst 10,000 other things like when is my dentist appointment, when is my child's soccer game, when do I have to do this, when do I have to do that. It lets you focus on what you need to focus on when you are inside that application. And then the last pro, I really believe the collaboration aspect of it and the real-time sharing is a huge plus for these types of tools. But with everything that you can list that is a pro, you guys know we are completely transparent. We have to talk about the cons here just as much. So what are some of the cons? Well, there is a learning curve to this software. Just like with any new piece of technology, you have to play around with it a little bit until you get comfortable. There are subscription costs with most of these programs. Now, I will say this. There are free versions available for just about every one of them. But if you want some of the extra features, some of the advanced sharing, collaboration, real-time things, you do have to look at one of the paid versions. Now, in most of the options I'm going to share with you in a second that are the most popular, I've noticed that the range is anywhere from $7 to $18 a month, depending on which features you pick and which tool you go with. Now, I have to say this is the last con, and it really saddens me to say this because you guys know I am a tech geek, true and true, but there is a point where you become overly reliant on technology. And in this case, carrying a notebook with you, that might be the best old school method. You have all your ideas in one place. You commit to putting everything in one place. You've got old school. Your notebook is never going to black out on you. You're never going to have technical issues. You're never going to have power outages. You're never going to have servers go down if you're carrying a notebook. But what I have learned over my time is one notebook turns into two, and then it turns into this, and then it turns into that. And so for me, yes, I'm a tech geek. And yes, I am the first to admit I am overly reliant on technology. But it's also here to stay. So I have to kind of lean into that aspect of my job. I'm a computer teacher, for goodness sakes. When the computers go down in my lab, I have to think quick on my feet on what I'm going to do with my kiddos. So while technology is not going anywhere, some people could consider it to be a negative that you are just adding one more thing to your reliance on technology. So I felt it was fair enough to point out. Now, let me talk a little bit about some of the most popular options out there. If you guys notice, I've got 6 icons up on the screen. These are according to 8 different websites that I reviewed looking for the most popular options. These were amongst the top 10 on every one of those sites. Now, I'm not going to dive into these tonight because this is more about how a content creator can use a project management tool. But if you all want to dive into some options out there, check out their pricing. Monday.com, I will tell you, is the most expensive. We have ClickUp, which we're going to preview tonight. Jira, I think is how you pronounce that. Asana is another one that has been around for quite a while. A Smartsheet, and then the last one on the list is called Rike. Now, I did not include Trello because while Trello is a good option for content creators, it is not technically in the project management software space. It lacks a lot of the tools and features that these 6 here in particular look at. Now, the one that is not on this list that I am doing as a comparison tonight is Notion. Okay, we've used Notion. There's a lot of people in the content world who use Notion. I did not add it on here because it really wasn't mentioned a lot, which kind of surprised me on these websites when I was looking for some of the most popular options. Maybe because Notion, if you really think about how we started to use Notion at the beginning, it was more for lists and generating ideas. And what I noticed is that Notion has now incorporated a heck of a lot more template options, and creating a project management board is much easier now than I feel like it was when we first started using Notion. So I feel like it's gotten a little bit more user friendly, and it's added a few more options and features. It definitely lacks a lot of the other things that are on this list, but I still think it's a viable choice. So now what I want to do is I actually want to move over into the demo. So first we're going to look at Notion. So Notion is something that we are familiar with here at C3. And what I did was I went in and cleaned up and created a team space for the 3 of us. And there's a home page. And what I did was I added 2 additional pages. Really what I did, not gonna lie, I started in ClickUp, and I kind of laid everything out in ClickUp the way I wanted it with the cards and things. And then today I recreated all of that in Notion. So what you guys should be able to see over here on the left, see if I can zoom in on this. Can I zoom in? I cannot zoom in. You. Oh, I can zoom in. Ha 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 ha.
Say, can you
Okay,
just
here we go.
zoom in on your browser size? There you go.
There we go. I'm in the app, so I don't have browsers running all over the place. So over here on the left, you can see there's the home page, which is where I'm at right now. And it just gives a brief description of the team and a place for everybody to kind of go as a landing spot. But then I have two boards set up, 2 databases set up in here. And one is for show planning, and then one is for show scheduling. And really, the show planning is everything that happens prior to one of us committing to a topic and making a decision that we're going to do it. So I'm really hoping that you think this is cool. I'm going to close out of this because I want as few things running on my computer as possible. So here is show planning ideas. Now, when you think about project management, there are a bunch of different ways that you as the user can choose to view and interact with the content that you develop. I have fallen in love with this idea of the Kanban view. Basically what it is it's using digital index cards that you create and customize. It's like, imagine taking a wall in your office, sectioning it off, and then using colored sticky notes to say like, well, this is in planning, this is in progress, this is assigned, this is completed, right? So you're creating a column view, you're naming those columns, and then you are creating a task card that you can then move across your database as this particular card goes through different stages. So let me show you what I did. I created an empty column here, and basically that empty column has one job, and it is to hold a blank topic card. Okay, so a blank topic card basically allows you the ability to duplicate this and then fill it in. So what are the things that we as content creators can think about when we're in the planning stages? Well, we can think about things like, what's a topic idea or focus? Who suggested the topic? And in this case, this is a drop down. There's 3 of us on the team. One of the 3 of us is suggesting this topic, right? A category area. These are categories that I created. So what category or bucket does this fall into? Now, notice here it says you can select an option or you can create a new one. Okay, so if it doesn't fill in one of these buckets, Facebook, YouTube, short form content, equipment or gear, trends, AI, Canva, or software, you can create your own. And then who is the suggested presenter? Now, at this point, you can leave this blank. If you come up with an idea, let's say you're scrolling through and you're reading something on Google and you see this new amazing idea that popped up. You really think, oh, this is something that we should definitely cover, but beyond that, you don't really have an idea like who should be covering it. You can leave it blank. Or if you're like, oh, this is something about low-cost gear, this is Kevin's wheelhouse, I'm going to select Kevin's name. And that's going to throw a suggestion to him. It's going to tag him and throw a suggestion to him. And then urgency or relevance. Really what I did here was I came up with a tier system that I think speaks to most content creation topics. Either it's something that should be covered immediately, or it's not really time sensitive. It can be covered anytime. It's seasonal, which means maybe it's like, for example, something I've done in Canva in the past where it's, holiday creepy designs or something like that. Or something that's not necessarily like 911 must do it now, but it really should be covered in the near future because it's something that's new and relevant. So you simply just select one of these. And then tags. So here's a situation where if it's something AI, maybe you would write a tag like AI, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, something like that. And then the date that you are creating it. And then let me show you one that I've already done. So if you, let me scroll over here. Zoomy, zoom, zoom, zoom. Whoops. So if you look, here's the card that I created regarding tonight's stream. Okay. The topic is a general project management software. And then I put the status. The status is where you would select which one of those columns it falls under. So if you're putting something about, I think, Kevin, you were starting to type something on there, you would change the status to move it to a particular column. Here, it's not as simple as clicking and dragging. You have to actually go into the card and select it. Just a general topic or focus for it, suggested by, category area, presented by, and then urgency, I put ASAP because, well, it's tonight's topic. Some software tags here, I could add others. And then, of course, the date of the show, which is tonight. If I wanted to add comments to you guys, you can add comments down here or things like that. And then if you notice, the card gets colored based on the column that it's in. So if I go to this and I select, if I select the status, I can now move this to my status, and you can see that it moves it out of software, and it now moves it into my column because it's something that I'm taking ownership of. So now it becomes something that I'm going to plan. So the goal of something like this, when you're kind of interacting with, the three of us are clear across the country, or clear across countries in Kevin's case, and so the goal of using a tool like this is we should always have something in each of our wheelhouses. There should be something that's percolating in each of our three columns. Even if we're not the next one up to present, we want to be planning out. So for me, this one now moves to scheduled. So it moves out of my column and it moves to the scheduled column, which means it's now completed. It's ready to go. It's got a date on the content calendar. I am presenting this on April 21st. So now I need to fill my bucket with something. So I need to generate another idea and I need to get it percolating. So this is phase one. Once it gets scheduled, then you can move to phase two. I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody has any questions regarding this particular sheet.
Yeah, I actually did have a quick question about how
Okay.
did you add the top? So you added the topic, and then it moved over to the proper column after that. How did that? Is that done automatically?
So if you go here on yours where it says status,
Yeah.
you're going to select
Ah, okay.
trends. And the status is what moves it to that column. Now, the other thing is, if you guys notice, some of those things we can see in short form on the card on this view. That's something that I set. I customize that. You don't see all of those categories. You only see the most important ones. So, who's suggested as presenter, what's a possible date for it, a category area, and some other, key things. So I'm going to show you guys the other board, if that's okay. So here's the other board. This board has a general idea area. So this is where the blank card lives for me, that we can all copy and use. And then there's a column for Kevin. There's a column for me. There's a column for Manny. And then we've got next up. So for me, I'm going to create one and I'm going to have it in my bucket. So, we should all have a next up there. And then once it's actually scheduled, it moves to this column. And then before it completes and it closes off the board, we have to repurpose our content. So after the show, after it's done, then the last step is we need to come back, and after we have repurposed and done that short form content with it, then we move it to repurposed, and it is the checkered finish line, and that video has gone from beginning to end and is now complete and archived. But it works exactly the same way. Each of these topics is a status, and you simply just, so if you duplicate the card, you're going to add a topic here, which will be Canva templates. We're going to move it to me, and then I'm going to fill in all this stuff. So what you're going to see on this card is you're going to see the actual title of tonight's show. You're going to see the actual description from the YouTube video. You're going to see the show date and time, a thumbnail idea, keywords, or tags. And then what are the main talking points, the pros, the cons, and then demoing Notion and demoing ClickUp. Which sites do you need here, or any type of specific software that you're going to need for the stream, and then any kind of special needs. So this goes for, let's say, Kevin, you're presenting and you need me to create a special scene for you. So you would put that in the special needs. I would see that. You could tag me. I'll get a notification of it as a team member, and I can immediately go to where that notification is taking me. That's one of the other beauties of a project management tool like this. You can tag and assign people, and you'll instantly get a notification as soon as you're mentioned, so that you can go right to the source of where somebody is drawing your attention. So those are the two boards that I created. But again, here's a calendar. You can see that everything that would show up with an actual date and time fills in on this content calendar, which is a nice quick view for you as part of a team to see what's up, what's next. Let's say there's a Sunday that we're taking off because of a holiday, that will go on the calendar, and then we would immediately see that, not schedule anything for it, and then bump everybody. And then, of course, if you like the old list view, you've got that as well. And then you can customize this screen to see not just the title and who, what the status is, but you can add other things. Like you can add in the date. You can show all sorts of things on here with the customization. You can really dive deep into something like this. It does take some time, though, to get it set up and running properly. But what I would love to do is show you guys what this looks like in ClickUp, so that you can just get a comparison, and then we'll move into questions and comments. So I'm going to slide over here now to ClickUp, which is on my other screen. And over here, it's the same idea. You've got a situation where, let me zoom in. You've got your taskbar on the left, right? This is called a space in ClickUp. And then I've got my two lists that I've created, same exact ideas, okay? Here's a blank topic card. Now, ClickUp is a little bit more robust because it's built specifically for project management solutions, whereas Notion is more of a general thing that you can use for project management as well. So this one is a little bit more intuitive in terms of its views and how you can interact with those views. So here I can collapse a column because I don't need to see it. It's just taking up real estate on my screen. And when I need to see the card, I just open it to duplicate the card. So I've got the same columns set up, the same categories for planning, Facebook, YouTube. I can customize colors here a little bit more than I can in Notion. Actually, you can't customize the colors at all in Notion. And I think it just looks a little bit neater, I think, in this view. So here again is the project management card. And you set the status. You can get rid of these things if you don't need them. I just left them turned on for now. Here's a general description of what you're looking to do with that show. And then these custom fields that were created. Again, a drop-down suggested by, category name. These are all just drop-downs in a list. Suggested by me. Which category does it fall under? In this case, it falls under software. Who is it? Who is the suggested presenter? And then, of course, the urgency, again, is here. And then it shows any activity over here on the right, which I think is a plus. You can see who's modifying things and when they modified them. You don't see this readily in Notion. And when you're done, you can just close that. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting. You can simply just take that card as if it were tacked onto a wall, and then you can move it. So in this case, I'm going to move it to me. And then notice the status automatically changes when you click and drag the card. So this one's a little bit, it's a little easier in terms of less clicking inside the cards to get things to kind of move across a flow. So then of course I'm going to drag it to scheduled, and then it would get archived here. Again, you have the same board view, you have the same list style view. You can turn on or off these columns as you want. And then of course you can create a table view if you want, something like this, which I don't think for this type of planning would be very efficient, but it's an option, as are many, many, many optional views inside ClickUp. And then you've got the show schedule, which is once you've committed to something, now let's put it over here and let's get it really planned out. So again, here it is under me. And by the way, this was suggested by their in-house built-in AI. I didn't love it just because it keeps saying things like in today's video. You know, I think our descriptions are a little bit more human. So I did take away some of the pros and the cons out of here though. But they wrote a video description with their in-house AI, which was not any sort of extra fee or anything. And by the way, I'm using the free version of ClickUp right now. So that's the card. And then you've got your custom fields down here. Same exact view with the fields as I generated in Notion. One of the things I want to point out, when I put those links into Notion, they remained as text. When I put them into ClickUp, they automatically generated links that when you click on them, they will take you right out to those web resources that you need. And any kind of special needs. So I really, really, really love ClickUp for a lot of reasons. I like the dragging and dropping. I like the automatic status updates. And the other thing I really love, this collaboration piece is amazing. Like the three of us can hop in here on a whiteboard real time and start looking at things and generating like a concept map if we wanted to. If all three of us are in here, we literally double click inside here and start adding ideas. And the other thing, ClickUp has so many templates, it's ridiculous. You could get lost for days in here. Absolutely lost for days in here. Now, those are just some general overviews of this. I will say, for any view, for any tool that you're using, I started with scratching stuff down. What do I want it to look like? What are the key things that I need to have included? And then I moved to the tool and I developed my idea that I already had planned out inside the tool. And I think that's where we, as a team, when we started trying to use a tool like Notion at the beginning of our journey, I don't think we knew what our journey was going to look like. And so that's the key difference between using a tool like this now versus using a tool like this at the beginning when you're not really sure exactly the path that you want to follow. And so the other thing that I did want to point out in ClickUp, really quick is that there is also a calendar view in here as well. And this literally will open the card. Whereas in Notion, that doesn't automatically open the task card for you that is it's applicable to. So I just wanted to share that. And final thoughts are this. You don't need to pay for a project management software tool. You can literally set this up using a free Google account, using a Google Calendar, and creating a table that you share as a Google Doc. If you're adept at Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, you can create cards and colorize them and move them across columns in an Excel spreadsheet. The thing that I love about a tool like this is that all of the coding and all of the hard work is done by their product development team. We get to just go in and play and develop our ideas. It organizes it. It allows us to look at things in a different view depending on where we're comfortable looking at things. And it could become a one-stop shop. Now, also, if you are a nonprofit, if you are part of a company, there are pricing structures for all of those things. Your company, your nonprofit, you may already have access to something like this as part of a existing plan. So I would look into that if this is something that interests you as far as organizing your thoughts. And speaking of organizing thoughts, I am now going to ask these gentlemen to consider for me what you saw and what the thoughts were that you had surrounding the implementation of one of these options moving forward in both our lives here at C3 and your own life as an independent content creator. And let's head to Manny first.
Wow, number one, I never even heard of this ClickUp. So that to me was a game changer because I loved the interface that you shared and how seamless it was to even go through and understand where the stuff was. So I really loved that part. Now, a real quick question on that one. Is that something like you're limited from the free version? Like, can you use the free version and not lose your access at any time? Or is it like a 90-day type thing?
It's a free forever. Yep.
That's
Now,
awesome.
I'm in the education space, so a lot of these companies offer educational pricing for teachers and students and things as well. And full disclosure, I am using ClickUp with my yearbook staff for next year so that they have everything, the editors go to one place to track everything about their book development, the writing, the planning, the ads, the financial budget, the events calendar. All of it is going to live inside of one location.
You guys are using ClickUp for that?
We are. Yep.
I love it. That gave me some ideas with my team and how to keep that all under one because obviously you can use Google Drive a lot, but you're very limited on what you can do, especially from a project. Since I'm so used to Google, and then I saw what you were sharing with that, and it was like, my gosh, you literally can bring everything in and manage it all from ClickUp.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like we use Google now, but ultimately there's really no planning inside of Google. It's just that's where our show flow documents live. Whereas something like this can help us move to the next phase, which is planning our content.
I
So
love it. I love it. What about you, Kevin? What did you think?
Yeah, absolutely game changer to keep yourself organized instead of having all those sticky notes all over the place. 100%. I did notice a lot of similarities between Notion and ClickUp, but like you said, ClickUp was a lot more intuitive with the dragging and dropping and the color coding. I love that aspect of it, so you could just have it a quick glance. Oh, this is Dory's stuff. This is Manny's stuff. This is Kevin's stuff. Um, and as you're going through that, I was also you went on to the Google Play Store and found that ClickUp does have an app associated with that. And for myself personally, I carry a phone around everywhere. So whenever I have an idea or something I want to write down, I can open up Notion and write down my notes. And I have done that. And it syncs up to the cloud so that when you get back to your computer and have a better way of typing and manipulating your graphics and so forth, then you can actually do it there. But I am excited about this ClickUp and going and play with that a little bit more because I love the fact about the whiteboard and having that collaboration as well. Just if you have a because we're in different time zones. Like first thing in the morning, Dory, after her first cup of coffee, she may have an inspiring idea that she wants to share with us, and she can just quickly write it down in the whiteboard. And by the time I get up in the morning, it's like Dory already has some ideas flowing, and we can all collaborate and work together on something for the following week. So I love that feature as well. So it's great um, management and time management as well, getting your stuff together in one location. And I put a comment in there because you had mentioned about having a notebook and then one notebook turning into two and then turning into it's like okay, where was that first notebook, where did I put that I have to go back, and now you have to read and go and take a look at all of that stuff as well. And do I know Notion, I've done it where it actually has a search function, so if you're looking for keywords, does ClickUp have that key function in there as well?
Yes. Yes. So you can filter things based on keywords, based on categories, based on status or priority. There's all sorts of ways that you can filter content so that you're only looking at a minute portion. Once you're using a tool like that for a long time, you're going to end up with, quite a few things. The other thing that you can do in ClickUp is you can say, you can identify like how many things that you have WIP, work in progress. So you might only have like 3 or 4 cards visible at a time on that page, whereas the rest of them get filtered out until you start moving others into other statuses. So, if we generate a list of like 20 ideas, you would have to like click on that particular status to filter to see all 20 of them. Because it doesn't, one of the things about tools like this is they want to reduce your sense of overwhelm. So they want you to only be looking at, a small percentage of what you need to be looking at to get a task done.
And that's what I love about these tools is they're they're looking for you to become more effective and
Yep.
only look at the stuff that you need to do and need to focus on. So I absolutely love it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm willing to try ClickUp, but I did have a question about that. Is what because we saw so many options available on this free version that you had signed up with. What are some of the features in a paid version that go up and over and beyond that?
So if you look at like the first paid version of ClickUp is something they call the unlimited option, and then it goes into like business and enterprise and some other things. So a lot of it has to do with how many people you need actively in your workspace, and then how many of like, what type of restrictions and assignments you need to give them. So for the school account, obviously, like I'm paying for that so that I can give different roles and assignments and access. So on the free account, I believe I invited both of you. I don't know if you had a chance to actually go in and look at it on ClickUp. But with the free account, you can't limit anything. Like you can see everything in there and you have full access to edit, delete, move, So you could see why if you create this with a larger team, you would want to move up into those paid tiers so that you as the owner can control what's happening. But I trust you
No,
guys, so I have no problems with you being in there. So, how about comments, guys? Is there anything here that we need to? So, Kevin, you mentioned about using the sticky notes, centralizing into one location. Definitely, definitely. I did find it also interesting that Notion was not in there, but again, maybe my question was very specific. I specifically asked for project management software solutions, whereas Notion, it can do that, but it's not the only thing that it can do. ClickUp definitely has a lot of options in the free version. And I think we just addressed the limitations question that you had. So I really like ClickUp. I think it's a little bit more intuitive. Not that I don't knock Notion. I really like Notion a lot. Notion for me is more of like a journaling thing, just the way the pages are set up and the way that you would organize it. I look at it more as like long form content, whereas ClickUp is definitely more for here's an idea, here's a bucket for the idea, let's move the idea from, beginning to end. So I don't know. I'm sold on ClickUp, but that doesn't mean I'm not willing to revisit Notion. I don't want to completely break up with Notion. But yeah, and I think unless you guys had anything else, do you have any parting words, gentlemen?
You brought a project management software into this training because a lot of like for me, I know from a personal standpoint, a lot is organization. Like I always could use a little more organization in my life with all of the, especially with clients so many times, maybe I'm asking for a password multiple times, or more embarrassingly enough, who are we interviewing again today? Where it's like if I already had that in one note, because it's not that I didn't write it down, there's a good chance I wrote it down. I just don't remember where I wrote it down. I don't know where I put it. Now I got to go and do some digging. So I like this. I really like this. And if you guys are open to it, I'm happy to go back to, giving ClickUp a try, for our workflow.
I
100%. I'm on
definitely.
board with that.
Cool. Cool. And I already did all the legwork, so that's awesome. It's already built. It's already built. All right. Well, with all of that being said, I do want to take an opportunity to point you in the direction of another video. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to do with project management tools, but one key aspect of using software like ClickUp or like Notion is where on earth do content creators get all of those amazing ideas from? And our very own Coach Manny did a video back in September entitled Create Bulk Content in Minutes with Canva and ChatGPT. And the link is hopefully getting dropped into our YouTube stream as we speak. But it is a good one. You guys should go check it out if you're struggling to come up with those original content ideas.
My friends, if you enjoy content like this and you're finding it useful, we would love it if you'd like and subscribe to our channel. And sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love. And you can visit our website for all the information on the different ways that you can connect with us right there on your screen at linktree/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And make sure to drop down into the comments below and let us know what kind of content that you would like to see us cover in the future. And we would be happy to dive in and explore and share and teach on that. So let us know in the comments.
So, thank you for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3, tonight as Dori talked about the use of project management software to help ease the burden of content creators. We will return next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will be discussing an important topic: security of you and your live stream assets. We will be multicasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So make sure to join us. Until then, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3 C's. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. See you next week.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.